Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and so happy to see you. I hope that your evening is really going on so well. Now, why was that group actually demonstrating against the ongoing, Africa Climate Summit? Why were they demonstrating? They just waited until the D-Day, because the day the function was taking its shape. And you see how our president actually prepared so well. The country was receiving high profile visitors, high octane meetings and engagements. Why were they waiting for today to demonstrate? In fact, if you look at their demonstration, it was kind of coming out with the message of the political, message being sent than any other thing. And you look at the framework of what they were saying, they were shouting, stop more of talking and do more of the action. And if you look at the political landscape in Kenya, I think this is the time that some of the serious heads of states were beginning to wonder, what is wrong with Kenya, surely, in as far as demonstrations, are concerned, and picketing and everything to do with whatever government is championing for. What is really wrong with the nation? So you see, they were saying, do not give us more talks. We need more action. All right. And for the first time, William Ruto wanted to showcase something about our nation, which of course is coming out. Leave alone the kind of standard that William Ruto has set in the international platform. And generally, you talk of Africa in its representation. The way William Ruto speaks during these summits, during this event, he has that audacity, he has that kind of oomph that comes from within him that gives him a standing edge.
In other words, this is where humanity began. Before you guys went all over the place in Europe and America and Asia and the rest of our continent, this is where we all began. And therefore, allow me to welcome you home. And in a few months, we are having a conversation as Kenyans. In a few months, we are seriously considering abolishing any visa requirement because it is unfair to ask anybody coming home for visa.
That you can actually agree. But you look at how this demonstration was choreographed and how it was really handled. Perhaps they were trying to send a specific message to a given, leadership themselves. Now, that is bringing me to what I want us to discuss today. Is William Ruto going to have easy time in standing out, both politically and in the administration that is handling as the president? Because he is having a hard time trying to bring things into harmony. And I think when you look at what those demonstrators were really sending forth, they were trying to bring in the aspect of, we do not need somebody who is double speaking. And this is going across board, okay? It is something across board. It is something which is touching on all heads of states. You go to their countries, they speak one thing about the climate change and effect, sometimes back it was being referred to as global warming. And when they meet the other leaders from, the yonder countries, they speak another language. Sometimes, African leaders are being enticed, sometimes they are being hoodwinked and just brushed off when they are seen to be gearing towards standing up for what they really actually want. So I think those demonstrators were very specific. Stop more of the talking, give us action. And in fact, some of the heads of states are just fronting themselves to be seen as fighting the menace behind the climatic change and what needs to be done. But real inside them, they do not even have plans. They are clueless on what needs to be taken in as far as curbing the climatic conditions that are harsh and are negatively detrimental for the global sustenance. They do not have. So when these activists were standing up and were directing that message, it really stood out. And when you look at how William Ruto is actually taking everything, sometimes you will be looking at him and sympathizing with him. Is there any time that he's going to have easy time, just having something into completion, having something into fruition, without demonstrations, without any, conflicting argument, or without anybody just coming to resent, to give a dissenting voice? Is there any time? It will be very difficult to note, but you have to realize that even if you look at the history, leaders who have always performed have not performed in a very flawless manner. Like, they did not meet hurdles. They always say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Perhaps if these demonstrations will be so much, kind of incessant the way they are, they will be actually making William Ruto to reason, making these heads of state to reason when we are talking of something that is touching on the African setting. And when you come back to our region, our setting, definitely, I think people need to stand up more, even than the way we have seen everything going down. Now, I want to jump the ship and address the pomp and romp, the ambience that we saw in the country. Definitely, when you talk of somebody who is doing marketing, you might have noted that, we have marketed ourselves perfectly well. You look at how the arrangement was at KICC. You can compare it to what happens in Switzerland, right? Geneva. Those high, high octane areas, where we see the perfect arrangement for a serious event that is taking the globe by attention, definitely. So that is exactly what we saw. And I noted that William Ruto is taking advantage of every step that is making. And he is a man who always knows how to work best, especially when he sees an opportunity. So if he sees an opportunity, he can appear to be the man who is very much promising and can promise you heaven on earth. And as time goes by, the authenticity of what he says is being confirmed but not assured. You cannot generally rely on it, especially when you talk of the things that are dealing with the local setting. When he goes outside there, he wants to take himself as the angel. Right now, the African states are talking about William Ruto. If they are to go for an election and to identify a representative, definitely William Ruto will triumph. He will pass with the flying colors, they always say. So he is a man who was taking advantage of this event, and it came perfectly well. We have advertised ourselves. We have shown the world, we have shown Africa that we are capable. In fact, if you look at even the corporates, some of the very strategic, inventions and very ideas that are driving the nations ahead, Kenya is considered to be one of the very, bedrock of these inventions and innovations. You are looking at how Ruto was engaging the new technology, electric cars, and the electric motorbikes. Things are really changing, and so William Ruto is taking advantage of that little development that is actually getting, and by that he is building his name further and further. So that is the reason why you could be seeing him sometimes when he speaks, even when he's addressing the issues of our nation. Definitely he would have that audacity to speak with authority, because he knows how he has spread his wings.
Bill Gates, one of the richest people on earth, said the best way to deal with poverty is chicken farming. That's Bill Gates. Yeah, so I want you to listen to that carefully. And in that space, you have an opportunity in the whole farming arena. I have listened to Adesina many times, and he says the next billionaires will be billionaires around farming. I've heard you say that, Adesina. Have you changed your mind?
No, it's true.
It's true. He says he still believes it is. So that is the space that not only gives us an opportunity to have a globe that is food secure, but also creates real value, real jobs, real enterprises, and real wealth, if I may say that, real wealth. So the investments are modest,